同学们好, today's lesson is focusing on chapter 17 of the textbook and we're talking about workplaces. 好吧,我们开始, let's get started. First, let's look at some new words. 的士 means taxi. I want you to notice that the first character, we've seen it before. We normally read it as de, which is the ownership particle, but this character can have more than one pronunciation. And when we put it with taxi, 的士 is taxi. Now, our textbook occasionally uses this word. However, there is another word for taxi that is used more often in the textbook and the HSC syllabus, and that is 出租车. 出租车. So 出租车 means to go out and rent a vehicle. So 租 is to rent, and we know 车 is a car or vehicle. Now, again, this word is a little bit old-fashioned, but it is frequently used in the textbooks and the exams. 出租车, 出租车. So if you are the driver of a 出租车, you would be the 司机. 司机. Next word we have is 服务员. 服务员. This is our waiter or waitress. 服 is to do, well, 服务 is to do with service. 服务. And yuan is like a member or a person, and it's in a couple of our job words. 服务员, waiter or waitress. 秘书 is a secretary. 秘书. Mi by itself is secret, and shu by itself is book. 秘书 secretary. 你妈妈做什么工作? 我妈妈是秘书. My mom's a secretary. 看书 means to read. 看 by itself is to look, to see, to read, and 书 is a book, so 看书 is to read. Next we have 经理. 经理. 经理 is a manager. 你爸爸做什么工作? What job does your dad do? 我爸爸当经理. My dad is a manager. 忙 means busy. 忙. We got the feeling radical on the side here because you feel really busy, right? 忙. 我爸爸的工作很忙. My dad's job is very busy. 忙, busy. 工程师 is an engineer. 工程 is to do with engineering. Okay, and 师 we know is a master. So 工程师 is an engineer. 你哥哥做什么工作? What job does your older brother do? 我哥哥是工程师. My older brother is an engineer. 公司. 公司 is a company. 公司. What jobs can we think of that would work at a company? 公司, we could have the 经理, the manager, the 工程师, the engineer works at a company, the 秘书, the secretary would work at a company. 公司, company. 医院. 医院 is a hospital. 医 by itself is to do with medicine, and 院 by itself is a courtyard or a building. 医院 is a hospital. Jobs that we can think of that work at a hospital: 医夫, 大夫 for doctor, 护士 for nurse. 医院 hospital. Next we have 学校. 学校 is a school. 学校. 学 by itself is to learn or to study. 学校. So working at our 学校, we would have our 老师, our teacher, and we have lots of 学生, students. 学生 for student. Next we have 酒店. 酒店. 酒店 is a hotel. 酒店. When we break down this word, it's really interesting because 酒 by itself means alcohol, and 店 by itself means shop. So you're probably thinking, well, shouldn't it be like a bottler or somewhere you can buy alcohol? Back in the day, a lot of the bars used to also be places where you could sleep, so there were hotels. So 酒店 is now the word for hotel rather than an alcohol shop. 酒店. What can we think? Who can we think would work at a 酒店? We would have the 服务员, the waiter or waitress. They can also be a service attendant. 服务员. We'd also need a manager, so we have a 经理. 饭店. 饭店 is a restaurant. So 饭 by itself means meal. It can also mean rice, meal or rice. 饭. And we've got the food radical on the side there. 饭. And we said 店 was a shop or store. 饭店 is a restaurant. So working at the restaurant would be the 服务员. 服务员, the waiter. 工厂. 工厂 is a factory. 工厂. So working at a factory, we could have the 工程师, the engineer. We could also have 工人. 工人 means a worker. And we also need a manager, 经理 for manager. 工厂 factory. 律师行. Can you figure out what that would be based on the name? 律师行. 律师行 is a law firm. Law firm. 律师行. So 律 by itself is law. We know that 师 is master, so 律师 is a lawyer, and 行 can represent a firm. We also saw this word in 银行 for bank. 律师行. And at the 律师行, we will have the 律师, the lawyer. We'd probably have a 经理, a manager, and a 秘书, a secretary. Could also have a 商人, a businessman. Okay, some different words now, not quite to do with jobs, but important for this chapter. 丈夫. 丈夫 means husband. Okay, so I'm not married yet, but when I am, I will be able to talk about my husband. 我的丈夫, my husband. 我的丈夫是商人. My husband is a businessman. 先生 can mean husband or Mr. Okay, we'll use it a little bit more for Mr. So if we're talking about Mr. King, we would say 王先生. 王先生. Now, 先 literally means first, and 生 is to be born. So this word literally means the firstborn. And interestingly, these are the characters that are used for the Japanese word for teacher, sensei. So sensei for teacher uses these characters in Japanese. So again, 先生 for Mr. and we put the surname first. So 王先生 would be Mr. King, Mr. Wang. And 太太 can mean Mrs., but it can also mean wife. So if we wanted to say Mrs. King, we would say 王太太. But if I was Mr. King and I wanted to talk about my wife, I could say 她是我的太太. She is my wife. 你太太做什么工作? What job does your wife do? 我太太是秘书. My wife is a secretary. And if we break down this word by itself, 太 actually means too, as in too much. So if I said 太热了, it's too hot. Okay, but when we put it together, and I don't know why, but when we put it together, it can mean Mrs. or wife. So maybe sometimes your wife can be a bit too much, is a way to think of it. 太太, wife or Mrs. 先生 for Mr. and 丈夫 for husband. So just make sure you don't get this one mixed up with 大夫, which uses the da character 大夫 for doctor, 丈夫 for husband. So if a lady is not married, we use 女士. That's the equivalent of Ms. It's not super clear if they're married or not. It's like Ms. So Ms. King would be 王女士. 王女士. So we have some more family words. 儿子. 儿子 is son. And 女儿 is daughter. So we can talk about our sons and our daughters. So if they're fully grown, 你的儿子做什么工作? What job does your son do? 我的儿子是工程师. My son is an engineer. 你的女儿做什么工作? What job does your daughter do? 我的女儿是律师. My daughter is a lawyer. Okay. 你有几个儿子? How many sons do you have? 我有3个儿子. I have 3 sons. Okay, some grammar, some measure words. So, 个, 口, and 加 are measure words in Chinese. So remember that the measure word is positioned between the number and the noun. 个 is for general use. 两个朋友, 2 friends. 口 is usually for family members. 三口人 for 3 family members. Now for households, enterprises, businesses, we use 家. 一家商店 is one shop. You can also think of 一家 working as the equivalent of a shop, one shop. 一家商店. So even though we use 家 for businesses, just keep in mind we do not use it for school. It is not the measure word for school. So let's look at some examples. So for 个, we can use it for 人, people, 老师 for teachers, 3个老师, 3 teachers, 学生 students, 4个学生 for students. We can use it for 服务员 for waiters. So inside the restaurant, there might be 5个服务员, 5 waiters. We can use it for doctors, 医生. The hospital might have 45个医生, 45 doctors. And we can also use it for 律师. Maybe the 律师行, the law firm, has 8个律师, 8 lawyers. For 口, for family members, we can use it for 人. 我家有3口人. My family has 3 family members. And 家, remember, it's that measure word for businesses, enterprises. So we could say that the street has 4 restaurants. 4家饭店. Maybe in the CBD, there might be 15 different law firms. 15家律师行. Maybe there are 2 bookstores, 2家书店, etc. We use it for 公司 for companies, 银行 for bank. So 家 is our measure word there. Okay, so we said that 医院 was a hospital. Now that we've learnt the different workplaces, we can talk about someone working at the workplace. So for example, 王医生在哪儿工作? So remember, Wang was king, and Yi Sheng is doctor. Dr. Wang works where? Where does Dr. Wang work? 他在一家医院工作. He works at one hospital. So remember I said that one and the measure word works as the equivalent of a in English. He at a hospital works is our sentence order for Chinese. 他在一家医院工作. He at a hospital works. So then we had 酒店, hotel. 兰兰是服务员. 兰兰 is a waitress. 在一家酒店工作. At a hotel works. 兰兰是服务员，在一家酒店工作. If you wanted to, you could put in 他 here. So 她在一家酒店工作. She at a hotel works. So just remember that the grammar structure is not the same as in English. We put the works at the end of the sentence. 饭店 for restaurant. So who are we going to say works at the restaurant? The 服务员, the waiter. We could also use manager, which is what I've used in this sentence. So 她先生 or 她丈夫, her husband, 是经理 is a manager, 在一家饭店工作 at a restaurant works. One more time. 她先生 or 她丈夫, her husband, 是经理 is a manager, 在一家饭店工作 at a restaurant works. 学校 school. 李老师在哪工作 Teacher Li where works. Where does Teacher Li work? 他在一个学校工作 She at a school works. She works at a school. Remember I said we can't use 家 for school. We have to use 个. 他在一个学校工作。工厂 was factory. 他太太是工程师 His wife is an engineer. 在一家工厂工作 at a factory works. His wife is an engineer. She works at a factory. 他太太是工程师，在一家工厂工作。律师行 was your law firm. 律师行。张女士是律师。So Ms. Zhang is a lawyer. 她在一家德国律师行工作。I'm missing that last bit. So she at a German law firm works. 她在一家德国律师行工作。Okay, this word here, 一点儿 or 一点点 means a little bit. We covered it when we were talking about speaking languages. 我会说一点汉语。我会说一点点汉语。I can speak a little bit of Chinese. I want you to note that this 点 has several meanings. So 点 means a clock, time, a dot. It can mean to select. 点菜 is to order food. 一点 is 1 o'clock. 一点半 is 1:30. However, when you double it up, it changes to a little bit. So 一点点 is a little bit and 一点儿 is a little bit. We will focus on time in term 4. So don't worry too much about the top of this slide. But for our example, 现在一点 now is 1 o'clock. 我会说一点汉语. I can speak a little bit of Mandarin. 你饿吗? Are you hungry? 一点点. A little bit. 好吧, that's all for this lesson. If you need to watch it again in the next few days, please do so. And I'll say bye for now. 好吧, 再见.